Hey, what's up, Street Talks? It's Eric from the Eric Street Photography blog here in Stockholm with some of my buddies. And yeah, I'm gonna do an interview with Dimitris. All right, so let me take that. So Dimitris,
Hi.
can you introduce yourself to the camera and the people out there?
Yeah, okay. I'll try at least to say my name is Dimitris. I come from originally from Greece. I'm living in Stockholm for 10 years now, and like I'm shooting for 3.5 years approximately. Yeah, that's about me. Like I work as a medical doctor, and I'm really interested in photography the last 3.5 years. It's like having a second job actually, like giving a lot of time to it and trying to shoot as much as I can. Getting very tired
Nice.
by both activities
Yeah.
actually.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you first discovered photography, or what interested you first about photography? Because I know that you started off just taking touristy landscapes and
Exactly.
travel photos.
Should we start from this because I think it's like the first step, let's say.
Yeah, talk about the first step.
Yeah, just I bought my first small digital camera. It was a Canon Nixus something. I don't remember the number of it in 2003. And like I could take as many photos as I wanted. This is the good with the digital cameras.
Uh-huh.
So like I started as a tourist, as most of us start actually, like taking photos during my holidays mostly. Not at all, I would say, during my normal life, only during holidays. And I was liking it. And I was thinking I like photography a lot, but I didn't know about artistic photography, anything. And I didn't know what good photography is. I just knew I like it. Then on around 2010, like I bought before this event I'm gonna tell you, just by chance I was in the States for a trip, and cameras used to be more cheaper than in Europe.
Yeah.
So I bought a Canon 50D. I didn't know exactly why, but I thought just to buy a good camera, let's say. And then 2 months after I break my leg and I have to stay 2 months in bed, and like I didn't have anything else to do, so I ordered some photography books, like how to frame, what is ISO, what is aperture, all these basic things which I didn't know until then because I was just a tourist shooting like for monuments or I don't know, me and my girlfriend, only those kind of things. And yeah, okay, I got a little bit hooked to it, like how you can make a compositionally correct photo. This is the first thing that got my attention. And like after I got well again with my leg and I could walk, I slowly started getting more interested, and I joined Flickr in May 2010, I remember, because a friend recommended, and in August 2010 I started using it, and I was lucky enough to get like Czech Greek photographers to start with. So I remember I checked some photos from Lukas Vasilikos, which nowadays is a good friend and kind of a mentor also, because one of his workshops was the first workshop that I attended, and it really gave me inspiration to continue with my things. So I saw his photos. The good thing with Flickr is you can find the other photographers' connections in form of contacts. I looked at more guys like Haralabos, Dirty Harry, and more people looking at photos, thinking, oh, "That's fucking nice. I wanna do the same thing, or try to do the same thing." Let's say. Yeah, and then my trip starts. It's all about studying photography, looking at other people's work, and trying to do my own thing. And yeah.
So can you tell us about when do you think your photography really started taking up, and also maybe talking us about your travels to India and so forth?
Yeah, okay. When it started taking up, I think it's a slow process. It doesn't happen from the one day to the other, and still I'm a guy who shoots 3.5 years. Like, how up has it taken? I don't know. Like, others can judge better than me.
Huh?
But okay, let's say that with continuous studying and continuous trying, I see progress, and this is what I like. Otherwise, I wouldn't devote so much time on this, because it really takes time and energy from my life. And but I think every day, like I think generally everything that you do, if you do it like with devotion,
Yeah.
and you like give time to it, you will see a progress. So and like most of us are like shooting for fun. It's like a hobby. Most of the street photographers nowadays, I would say. So like the most of us have a job and we shoot in our extra time.
Yeah.
So to feel progress, you need to shoot quite a long time.
Yeah.
When I think I really got a little bit higher with my level of shooting was when because I loved it so much, I asked from my boss in the clinic for 6 months absence, so that I was not paid for 6 months to go to India and shoot. So yeah, I spent 4 months in India, two months around India, and like yeah, I had the privilege, which not everybody of us has, to shoot like 4 to 6 hours per day.
Yes.
Look my photos, fix them in Lightroom, look what I have done during the night, then get like a sense like of what I'm doing, how it's progressing, and then next day going out again and shooting again, and so on for 4 months in a row. I mean, I feel very privileged I could do that. 4 months only photography in my mind is yeah, like I'm lucky, I think, to have been done this, because not everybody can do it. Other people have families, their job will not let them do it. So yeah, and shooting continuously for a period, of course, makes you better.
So how, because you're shooting for 4 months every day for like 5 to 6 hours, how would you say that changed the way you kind of saw the world and how you worked on the streets differently?
Well, I think it helped me to like gradually. Okay, there are some things. First, one thing that happened during this trip is that I switched from black and white, or from a mixture of black and white and color, to total color. I don't know, but I think if you shoot a lot, you start seeing that the world should be expressed even artistically as the way we look at through our eyes, and we look color, we don't look black and white. So like probably this happened because of the time of all those months. Then another thing, a good thing that happened is that I usually like compositions. I like photos where you can combine 1, 2, 3, 4 different elements and like make a good composition out of it. This doesn't come at once. Like the first the time you're shooting as a photographer, you can hardly combine two elements together and make like a meaningful or interesting composition. So if you shoot continuously for such a long time, then like I think this happened during the 4th month actually. I could like see one thing here, one thing there, one thing there. I was really quick at looking at different things together and shooting and including everything in my frame. If I go back now, probably I'm not gonna be able to shoot in that level, at least be so quick to combine all these elements. It needs time, it's, you know, like it's the more you do it, the better you get. But I think you forget a little bit if you get caught, because you don't do it that frequently.
Yeah. So I think you know, it seemed like your photography really took off when you had this trip in India and were traveling. And I think one of the problems that a lot of us street photographers have is, we feel uninspired when we're back home. So can you tell us how you juggle, having to have a day job and travel and shoot while also being back here in Stockholm? Like, how do you think, how's your street photography here in Stockholm?
Well, I'm trying here too. Since I came back, I'm trying. I would say that what I'm trying to do now mostly is like to find like some periods, like since I came back January 2013, I have had 3 periods of 2 weeks each where I decided to shoot. 2 weeks it was here in Stockholm, 2 weeks in Prague, and 2 weeks was in. Yeah, there is some noise now, but maybe you can hear me. Okay.
So next question. So then, sorry.
No, I was saying that, or how do we do it? We take.
Oh, you
Yeah, all right. We'll continue that. So I take from time to time 2 weeks periods, and those 2 weeks I'm only shooting. I think this is the best way to do it. And then maybe I don't shoot for 1 or 2 months, or because I'm in the clinic and I usually finish late and I'm tired. I can not really find inspiration after 8 hours in the work. My head is fucked up too.
So what kind of work do you do?
I am a medical doctor. I work in a hospital. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting though. It seems that even though you're quite busy with work, you have been able to make some interesting photos, like the one photo of the lady with that huge eye.
Yeah.
So can you tell us maybe the background of the shot?
The story of the shot.
Yeah. And how you shot it maybe.
Okay. This is my girlfriend. And the story is that it was my birthday and she wanted to do some surprise for me because I was quite depressed after coming back from India, and I didn't like to be back. I would like to be still in India and shoot photos. So she tried to get my friends in the house, so she took me to her lab to help her so that the other would have time to come. And like I took my camera with me, and like yeah, I saw that lamp, and I thought I'll take a photo. I thought immediately lamp and her eye. I'll magnify her eye. So like I started with close portrait of her, very close, just her eye and her neck, and then I was taking steps back, and then I found her reflection on the glass. So I had a person, like a real person on the glass, and the person which doesn't look like a person, it's like a huge eye. And like this is like a symbol for me, the researcher, which is both a human and a researcher, and like a symbol for research or yeah.
So speaking about research, can you tell, or not research, symbolism.
Symbolism.
So can you tell us the importance of symbolism in your work, as well as any other things you're trying to get through in your photography?
Yeah, sure. Well, okay, I like symbols, and I think I have some symbolistic work among my pictures, but like it's not so easy. Not every photo you can shoot can have a strong symbol. Like I have another photo in my stream with ABBA. Like the pop group, it's like outside the museum, and it's one of those things where you put your head and you get a photo with them.
Yeah.
So I have them like it's 4 of them, so it's 4 empty heads, and for me it's like ABBA, pop culture, empty heads, because I think pop culture is quite empty in my
Yeah.
in my world, in my
Yes.
view, of course. And then there is the sun coming, and out of one, so like empty heads and the sun, like still like empty culture, but shining, and something like this. So yeah, and some other photos that I think contain symbols. So like I try to go for symbols, but it's not always easy, and actually sometimes symbols you discover when you post-process your photos. Like you shoot with your instinct, maybe that time you don't see it, and then you discover it during the way.
You mean during post-processing or during editing?
During, yeah, exactly. Sorry, during.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look your photo, when you get it in afterwards.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
And I mean, why symbolism? Is it like why are you interested in symbolism in particular?
I don't know, because I think symbolism can talk about current issues in our society, and is a way also to show what my view of the society, of the world, of everyday life is. So symbolism is a way to reflect myself in my photos, let's say. But yeah, I tell you, sometimes I see the symbol on the spot. Some other times I discover the symbol afterwards. So other than that, I'm trying for a lot for surrealism. I like photos with hands going here and there, maybe everything coming together, or some other surrealistic compositions, which sometimes may seem a little bit more shallow than the symbolistic work. But ideally, sometimes you can combine everything together, have a surrealistic image and containing a strong symbol as well. I don't know. Some other photos, I'm attracted when I shoot a photo by the mood that I see potentially reflected in those photos. So yeah, I think my work is about this surrealism, symbols, a certain mood.
Yeah. And I think you in your street photography you definitely caught a lot of great moments where I do see the symbolism, the surrealism. One thing that I found interesting is, how hard you have to work to get the shots you do. Can you tell us a little bit about, when you see a scene, like how many times you click and how you work the scene and stuff like that?
Well, this also has changed during time. I used to before I used to mainly take one shot and go. I don't know why. Maybe because sometimes it was people and I was shy and I just wanted to escape before they start yelling at me.
Yeah,
Maybe that could be one reason. When I went to India, though, probably because people in India are much more friendlier than here in the Western Europe, and you can shoot without getting all those complaints. I was kind of insisting when taking shots. So the one click became more clicks, and when I finished this 4-month trip, I could maybe shoot a scene for 30, 40 times before I said, okay, now it's enough, I will go on to some other scene.
So how do you know when it's enough?
When is enough? I shoot digital, so I was looking at what I was shooting. So sometimes I had the feeling, okay, now I have a photo that I really like, so I can progress. Some other times I was also getting yelled even in India. Then it was time to go. And, I don't know, but mainly you stop when you feel is enough, or when. You start irritating people and then you have to go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One thing I also like about your work is your color work now, especially. But I see back in your old stream, you used to shoot a lot of black and white. Can you tell us a little bit about your transition from black and white to color? Why you did it and how you work differently in color, and what it means to you.
Well, okay, I think from most of the people starting in photography, street photography, any kind of artistic photography, most of us will try black and white in the beginning. Why that? Because with artistic photography and art generally, you want to get out of the reality. This is what art tries to achieve.
Yes.
So black and white is not reality. Is not what we see with our eyes. So it was my way in the beginning to try and create art. Okay, to try something artistic, let's say. What I think is the biggest challenge is to create art with color, because color is what we see, with a, let's say, reality thing as color photography, because it's closer to reality, trying to get away from reality. Well, that's a challenge. And I'm happy I went into that, and actually now I'm thinking most of the photos I have that are black and white to go back and process them in color now. So hopefully most of my work will be color in the future, and I'm not thinking of black and white at all nowadays.
One thing you mentioned earlier was a workshop you did with Nikos Ekonopoulos from Magnum.
Yes.
Can you also share, I guess, what you learned from that workshop in particular?
Well, I had this workshop with Nikos Ekonopoulos in Varanasi in India. It was 1 week. I learned 2 things from this workshop. The one thing was that he was the guy that challenged us, me and the other participants, to choose color or black and white during this 1 week. We had from the first day to choose what we wanna shoot. And it was my second month in India by that time, and like the photos I was taking the first month I was processing them either in black and white or color, like depending on what it felt better. After I did this 1 week shooting and thinking in color, like I switched to color. So this was the one thing that I really picked up from that workshop.
Yes.
And the other thing I picked up is I think Nikos Ekonomopoulos, you see it in his pictures, has a certain way of framing. Like he goes for many elements and with a central event. And yeah, somehow this is also what I like, including many elements, but then you have to have a central event to have a strong photo, something where the viewer can focus and which gives the strength of the photo, with everything else hopefully equally strong, but if not equally strong, at least getting a good composition.
And I mean, we were talking about the last few days of maybe it was kind of a tired discussion, but like the whole definition of street photography. And I know quite a bit of your photos you enjoy arranging your shots in certain ways. You know, some people might say, "Oh, it's a bit unethical to pose your photos."
Yeah.
And you know, so I guess part questions is first of all, of course, no right or wrong answers. But personally, how would you define street photography, and how do you think the role of candid versus posed plays in street photography in your work?
Okay. Yeah, I can start commenting about rules, because I think these are rules that are set by others. Like street photography has to be like candid, like many people think as this. But I mean, I think mainly rules, if you wanna set rules, keep it for yourself mainly. Like I have also rules for myself. In the beginning I also had rules like shooting Candid, not cropping at all and stuff. Now, to tell you the truth, I don't care so much about it. I can shoot Candid, and I think it shows in many photos of mine that are candid, and I'm happy when it's candid actually. But if I see a scene and I have some opportunity from a dead background that I think is beautiful to create a beautiful photo, asking for help of someone, I would do that also. I think I'm more into street photography aesthetics than street photography with hard and strict definition of it. But that's me. I mean, if people don't like it, yeah, it's...
What would you say is the street photography aesthetic?
Okay, I'm a little bit bad with definition, but things that feel like street photography, many elements, surrealistic compositions, stuff like this. I cannot really define it. It's the feeling I'm getting when I look at the photograph, and I can look at photos of other people and get this feeling and feel that the aesthetic is there, even if it's photo shoot at a house or in the family of someone. And there are many people saying that it should be strictly done in the street or public places. I think it can be done in our family, in our house, and there are many good photographers that do this. Or yeah, like something like this.
And when it comes to photographers on Flickr or groups on Flickr, are there any photographers in particular you recommend people to check out, or certain groups to follow?
Yeah, like it's quite many. So I mean, I didn't expect that question. So
and we could add the information and links afterwards too and stuff.
Yeah, all right.
But just off the top of your head.
Yes, okay. I like very much the work of my friend Adonis Damolis. He's a member of the Observe Collective. What I like in Andonis' work, actually it's sad because he left Flickr now, so he's only accessible through his website, but I would recommend guys to check him out. He's not only about street, he's also in this wider aesthetic of photography. He shoots street, he shoots without people, he shoots a lot of nature, but I think he has this certain aesthetic that I like in his photos, so he's a good guy to check out. There are quite many good photographers from Greece. Dirty Harry, everybody knows him. Good photos. He's shooting for a long time, and he's still strong and shooting good. Yeah, I like his work. Lukas Vasilikos is another guy. He's street-oriented, and lately he's more into uncanny photography than street actually, but his work is really interesting. Like it's many people like here in I don't know. That's it.
Yeah.
It's many people.
Yeah, I could add it later.
Yeah. All right.
So maybe to wrap up this interview, so you know, I know you talked at my workshop this past weekend. So for people out there who are watching this video and you know they kind of want to find more of their own style, they just want tips and guidance and advice, what are some last advices you might give them?
Well, I think for the beginners, as I told to the guys you were teaching this weekend, which were all beginners, is that if you love something or if you get in love with something, might it be photography, might it be any other interest, if you want to progress, give time to it. Shoot or study it as much as you can, and hopefully you will see a progress on it.
Yeah. And any other last things you'd like to mention?
All right, yeah, I would like to mention that I'm a beginner, I'm a baby in this kind of thing, so what I said now is the views of a beginner, so if I'd said something stupid or anything like this, yeah, that's my thoughts. Cheers.
Okay, cheers. All right. Thank you very much for the interview. All right. Peace out.